Grain as big as a hen's egg. Okay. One day, some children found in a ravine a thing shaped like a grain of corn, with groove down the middle but as large as a hen's egg. One day, some children found in a ravine a thing shaped like a grain of corn, with a groove down the middle, but as large as a hen's egg. A traveler passing by saw the thing, bought it from the children for a penny, and taking it to town, sold it to the king as a curiosity. The king called together his wise men and told them to find out what the thing was. The wise men pondered and pondered, but could not make head or tail of it. I don't understand anything. One day, when the thing was lying on a window sill, a hen flew in and pecked at it till she made a hole in it. Then everyone saw that it was a grain of corn. What did you see? It was a grain of corn. Grain of corn. The wise man went to the king and said, "It's a grain of corn." At this, the king was much surprised, and he ordered the learned men to find out when and where such corn had grown. The learned man, as in the educated man, thought again, pondered again, and searched in their books, but could find nothing about it. So they turned to the king and said, "We can give you no answer. I cannot give you the answer. There is nothing about it in our books. You will have to ask the peasants. Perhaps some of them may have learned from their fathers when and where grain grew to such a size." So the king gave orders that some very old peasant should be brought before him. Brought is the past tense of bring. His servants found such a man and brought him to the king, old and bent, ashy, pale, and toothless. He doesn't have tooth. He just managed with the help of two crutches to totter into the king's. Yes, the king showed him the grain, but the old man could hardly see it. He took it, however, and felt it with his hands. The king questioned him, "Can you tell us, old man, where such grain as this grew? Have you ever bought such corn or sown such in your fields?" The old man was so deaf that he could hardly hear what the king said, and only understood with great difficulty. "No," he answered at last, "I never sowed nor reaped any like it in my fields, nor did I ever buy any such. When we bought corn, the grains were always small as they are now. But you might ask my father. He may have heard such grain grew." So the king went for the old man's father, and he was found and brought before the king. He came walking with one crutch. Yeah. The king showed him the grain, and the old peasant, who was still able to see, took a good look at it. The king asked him, "Can you tell us, old man, where corn like this used to grow? Have you ever bought any like it or sown any in your fields?" Though the old man was rather hard of hearing, he still heard better than his son had done. "No," he said, "I never sowed nor reaped any grain like this in my fields. As for buying, I never bought any, for in my time money was not yet in use. Everyone grew his own corn, and when there was any need, we shared with one another. I do not know where corn like this grew. Ours was larger and yielded more flour than present day grains, but I never saw any like this. I have, however, heard my father say that in his time the grain grew larger and yielded more flour than ours. You had better ask him." So the king sent for this old man's father. They found him too and brought him before the king. He entered walking easily and without crutches. So easily and without crutches, he used one crutch and he used two crutch. Okay. His sight was clear. That means see. See's past tense is sight. Was clear. His hearing was good, and he spoke distinctly. Distinctly means clearly. The king showed him the grain, and the old grandfather looked at it and turned it about in his hand. He turned it in his hand like this, he saw, and then turned it. "It is long since I saw such a fine grain," he said. He bit a piece of and tasted it. "It's the very same kind," he added. "Tell me, grandfather," said the king. When When and where was such corn grown? Have you ever bought any like it or sown any in your fields? The old man replied, corn like this used to grow everywhere in my time. I lived on corn like this in my young days and fed others on it. It was grain like this that we used to sow, reap, and thresh. Thresh means breaking. There is three things you do. Sow means putting the corn, reap means see it grow up, and thresh means you beat it against a drum and then the seed comes out. The king asked, tell me, grandfather, you bought it from where or grew it all by yourself? The old man smiled. In my time, he answered, no one ever thought of such a sin as buying or selling. We knew nothing of money. Each man had corn enough of his own. Then tell me, grandfather, asked the king, where was your field? Where did you grow corn like this? The grandfather answered, my field was God's earth. Whenever I plowed means whenever I prepared the field, there was my field. Land was free. It was a thing no man called his own. Labor was the only thing men called their own. Answer two more questions, said the king. The first is, why did the earth bear such grain and then ceased? Ceased means stopped. Ceased means stopped to do so now. It's like, why don't such grain grow now? The second is, why does your grandson walk with two crutches, your son with one, and you with none? Your eyes are bright, your teeth is sound, that means your teeth is good, and your speech is clear, that means he speaks properly, and pleasant to hear, pleasant to hear. I can hear it. How these things come about? Like, why are some things like this? The old man answered, these things are so because men have ceased to live by their own labor. He's saying people started being hardworking. People are not no longer hardworking. They have taken to depending on the labor of others, meaning like they depend on others' hard work. In the olden times, men lived according to God's law. That means whatever Allah said, whatever God said, we used to live by that. They had what was their own and coveted not what others had produced. This story is by Leo Tolstoy. This is a very, very famous writer. You will see very big stories and very nice stories written by this. It's a very big personnel in English literature. Like he wrote very good stories.